and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
We are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today, we're going to discuss and demonstrate exercises for people over 60. You can do it by Bob and Brad at home.
Yeah, that's right, Bob. That's why I'm wearing the shirt, raising the bar. People that are, 60 years old, you're almost there.
Not going to the bar.
You're almost.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm knocking on the door. I got the banana peel and the 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on the banana peel. That
so you can get out of that point and really achieve some achievements physically. And we're going to show you how and talk about a couple people who have done it way out there. And so just hold on. But Bob's got one thing to say.
Inspirational stories, right? Yeah. If you are new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, you want to join us on Facebook. When did we decide that we're putting this up? Did we? Oh, it's Thursday. Yeah. So we do have we're still doing a giveaway of a mattress.
Sure.
You can still sign up for that. SleepOvation, a wonderful mattress, especially if you're having pain at all. You can find that on Facebook.com. You can actually find it. It'll be below this video in the description too. But these are all of our social media platforms.
Right. Instagram.
You
better believe it.
We like Instagram.
Yepper. So, Bob, this is something that's near and dear to me because
you've exercised your whole life.
Well, yeah, but there's people who haven't, and they're thinking about it. And
they can turn things around.
Right. And as therapists, we see people like that frequently where they want to get started on exercise but really don't know where to start. Or even if it's worth starting because they're too old to. But I want to talk to a couple stories here. Number one, if you ever heard of Effie Nielsen.
I love that name, Effie.
Effie Nielsen. You can probably tell by the name. She was
a little bit older.
A little dated. But in September 22nd, 2002, Effie was 90 years old, and she set the world record for powerlifting.
Wow.
So that's 3 lifts. She squatted with a bar on her. Where's my thing? So
there we go.
She had a bar with weights, 80 pounds, and she squatted and made the legal limit. You have to go down 80 pounds. And then she bench pressed laying down 50 pounds.
Wow.
And then she lifted 135 pounds from the floor to here.
At age 90.
At age 90.
Wow.
Right. She's, and I was reading some more about her personal life.
Bravo, Effie.
Right.
Bravo.
She was a sister. She was, a
nun.
Right. And she had a very interesting life. As you can tell, she was very dynamic. This next person, I don't know her last name, but when I was 38 years old, about 20 years ago.
Sure.
Agnes, I knew her first name was Agnes. I was doing my first triathlon. I ever did a sprint triathlon, swim a quarter mile, bike 16, run 5K. And Agnes was there doing it. She was 72 years old. Agnes beat me.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Let me just say this about you, Brad. You're no slouch either. Brad's a pretty good endurance athlete.
Well,
you really are.
It was my first one, and I didn't know how to train, and I didn't have a very good bike, and I didn't bike very well.
Like a lot of excuses to me, Brad.
Well, I'm telling you what, she beat me, and the next year she was there again, and I trained up, and I beat her.
Way to go, Brad. You didn't trip or anything, did you?
No.
All right,
but I continued to see her at local triathlons in Wisconsin for the next, until she was close to 80, and then I kind of lost track. So I don't know exactly.
She wasn't in a wheelchair when she beat you, was she? Okay.
It was incredible. So, right now my goal is to do at least one every year until I get to 72.
Wonderful.
So I've got 15 years to go or something.
All right, keep her rolling. Well, let's go over some exercises, Brad,
there you
for
go.
people, huh?
If you're not motivated by now to get moving on these, it's too late. Okay, so the first one, now these for designed mostly for at home. I mean, you could go to a fitness studio as well. But if you don't want to do that, you don't want to buy a bunch of equipment, these work very well. We're going to start with arm strength.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to do push-ups.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I can hear a lot of people are screaming at the screen right now. I can't do a push-up.
Right.
I'm old.
Right.
But they can. They can start off with the modified ones.
Or if you say, I can't even get down on the floor very well, my knees hurt, well, we're going to show you options for that too. Yeah. So go ahead, Bob.
Well, actually, Brad, do you want to we'll go off the edge of this thing?
Yep.
So we can each do both sides here.
There you go. So you go out like this.
Yep, and you could do this on a counter, a kitchen counter.
Yep.
If you're really weak, you could go up to a wall
Yep.
and just start that way.
A wall and do
Yeah.
that. Repetitions, all these 10 to 15. Let's not go more than 15. I like to keep around 10. If you want to go a little more, that's fine.
You can put your hands to a comfortable width apart,
Right.
and you can actually start by not dipping down as far if you
Right.
are weak. Just try some shallow ones to go.
And
Then eventually, once in a while, do a deep one.
Right. And then when you get to the floor level, or if you want to start there right off the bat, that's fine. You may start on your knees and work that. Try to keep good form, head up. And then you can progress to on your toes and work those. Again, don't let your back slouch like this or way up like that. Try to keep a straight back and body if you can, and work up to 15. You can do one as you progress. Do 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 15. So you do 10, rest for a little bit, do another set, rest for a little bit, and that progresses. Okay.
All right. Next one, Brad. Scapular retractions. So
Yeah.
we're trying to strengthen the muscles between the shoulder blades. Great for working on your posture.
Right.
And the one thing is you can do this just with the most simple band here. You can get some tubing or TheraBand or
Right.
some type of exercise stretch band.
Right.
And all you have to do is you can keep that in your pocket even if you want to.
Sure.
And you're just going to spread it out apart like this. And if you watch me now, I'm squeezing the shoulder
Right.
blades together while I'm doing it.
So if you look at it from this side, squeeze the shoulder blades back, and I have my patients say, stick your chest out, shoulder blades back to really emphasize.
Really get good posture.
It's going to strengthen your muscles in your back and your posture. It's going to help you breathe better, which is going to help you exercise better, as well as a number of other benefits.
So I'm kind of making a W if you want to look
Right.
here while I'm doing this.
As you advance, you may want to go with something against the wall. We use the wall anchor because they work so handy, which we do have those available below our video. And then we're going to work here. And these actually work nicer because here we can go here, and as you advance, you can
Go
work
up,
up here.
you can go down.
You can go down. So
Exactly.
those are some options there. And
Great reminder. I always think when I walk by it, it's always taunting me like, you haven't done me in a while. Go ahead and do it. So then
That's
I'll go
right.
ahead and rip some off there. So,
right. The next one you need to be doing laying down. You can do these on your bed or on the floor. Again, whatever you're able or feel most comfortable with doing. And we're working some core exercises. You see, we're kind of working from the shoulders on down. So core is strength. Core strength is really important.
Now, if you're really weak, you might just start with one leg at a time, going like this.
So tighten up your stomach. Make sure your back is arched slightly. And try and keep your back and your low back in one position by keeping your stomach taut or tight through the whole motion. So go ahead, Bob. And if one knee is too easy.
Basically, you're trying to flatten, like if your hand was underneath, you're trying to flatten it, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, you're trying to actually turn the pelvis this way a little bit, hold it there, and now go ahead and work it this way.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I didn't explain that very clearly.
Yeah,
did
I didn't think so either, Brad. So then you can go to double leg, which is a little more difficult, right? And
Right.
put your hands down here, and this is tougher now.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little more advanced, and if you go way out here, it's a lot more advanced.
Right.
So
If you haven't done these before, I would stick with the knees bent and work them up
yeah,
to here. and get a
exactly,
feel
like up
for
in
it.
this range here, or even the single leg, or even alternating like
There
this.
you go.
So-
Also, you can do the crunches where you just lift up your head and shoulders.
But try not to curl forward on
Yep.
this. Try to lift your head straight to the ceiling like this. That
Can
works
you
out the
get me
best.
in there too, Liz? Or is just you just got Bob? Because I want to be part of the show. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. You know how I feel about those things. If you want to cross your arms like this, it makes it a little more difficult. And if you're really good and you're doing 10 or 15, these are ones that you can go up to 20 or 30 repetitions because that's just the nature of core exercise.
Yeah, you're trying to tone and not just necessarily strengthen, so you can do
Exactly.
higher reps.
And then the next
bridging?
one, we're going to work the hips. We're going to work down. This does the core and the hips at the same time. So it's a double bonus. So up like this and down.
And again, you can have your hands down here. I'm not putting my head all the way back, Brad, because I got a microphone on. But
Right. I'm
go up
not
like
worried about
this.
my mic. I don't care if they can hear me. I'm just kidding. Okay.
now, if you want to go advanced on this, you could go one leg on this
Oh,
thing
yeah.
too.
Yep. and that's a really nice option. That's the nice thing about when you learn how to exercise, you really find out you don't need a lot of fancy equipment at all, and you're going to get good quality exercise if you do it
And we can
right.
make it harder and harder for you with each step of the, you know, of the movement there.
Yeah.
So, all right, where are we at, Brad, now?
Well,
Biceps,
Bob,
triceps?
Yes. We got down to the core and the hips. Now we're going to jump up to the arms.
Okay, you want to...
Oh, I got the green ones for you, Bob.
Oh,
I know
here, I
you
want
wanna-
to be bulky.
Well, and I got them right by Gumby.
Yeah.
To get strong like him. So anyways, use dumbbells if you would like to use that. I'm going to use the anchor. The nice thing about these is you can easily move them from one location to the other because I need them down to the lower anchor.
While he's doing that, I often start with biceps with my palms facing me
Yep.
and then palms facing up. So facing me, facing up. That's just kind of the nature of how the bicep works.
So watch. You can see the weight here, and he's turning. Now
Yeah.
I can see his palms up. Yeah.
Yeah, and that works the bicep specifically there. So, because the bicep is a supinator too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Ah.
So,
You don't really have to worry
Know
about
that.
knowing that. But as far as working with a band, if you have it like this on the anchor, this is the way I do mine because it's efficient because I can do both at the same time. And
yeah, you can take into account your time for
Right.
the day. So you can...
and then I actually just turn around and then I do a postural one as well while the biceps rest. So there's a lot of different options.
What's nice about using the bands is they are easier to do triceps for me because now triceps you can go like this, and
Right.
work up like
Yep.
this, or I can be on a mat here, or on the floor or on the bed, and you can work it like this, and you can even hold the one arm and work
Right.
it like this.
So if you do have the bands, I'll work triceps. You can see we're doing the same motion, just that Bob is laying down and I'm standing, both working those triceps.
If you have a bar going across like this, that's why they call them skull crushers, because I often don't like to do those, but you could do single arm ones with a dumbbell. All right, Brad, what else
All
is
right,
there?
squats. You can do squats. Bob will show you. You should have something to hold on to unless you got really good balance. But we want to do squats here. Again, we're going to keep the toes in front, or the knee.
In front of the toes.
Like, so if you have a line like we have here with the stick, here, we don't want to squat like this.
Yeah, if you're a bit weak, you can use a chair like this, and you actually use the arms to start.
Sure, you
and
bet.
and then work to the point where you're not using the arms.
Stand all the way up, Bob.
Yep.
That bothers me if you don't
But you
do
could
that.
also, sit down on the chair or just bump against the chair to start off with.
That, by the way, is one of the best exercises for balance at preventing falls. I just got that read that in a study on
Oh,
continuing
excellent.
ed. So if you're having problems with balance, that's a really
A lot
good,
of sit to stands.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, working squats. If you would like to work one leg a little more aggressively, you can hold on to a chair or a stick or a cane, and you can work one-legged lunges.
Now look at what he's doing, though. He's dipping down, though. He's not dipping forward.
Yep, this is a common mistake.
Yep.
We want to go like this.
Again, we're trying to keep, I hate to take that from you,
yep.
Brad, but you're trying to keep that knee from going past the front of the foot.
Right,
Like
not that.
So,
Okay.
nice,
those
very
are,
functional one
yep.
to do.
And the last but not least is, let's do, this is a nice balanced one for
Sure.
the ankles, is up on the toes,
And again, holding onto a chair if you have any lack of balance at all,
Yep.
and then up on the heels.
especially when you go back on the heels. That's where you have a tendency to go backwards. So, leaning forward slightly with both, holding onto the cupboard or a stick or a cane.
Great one to do throughout the day. I mean,
Yep.
you don't have to pick one time of the day to do this one. You can actually do this throughout the day
Right.
as a good strengthener for your ankles, which a lot of your balance comes from
Right.
your ankles too.
And some of you people who are advanced, you say that's too easy. Simply go to one foot, and then I guarantee you,
Yeah, you'll feel a burn.
right, it'll work your
So.
balance even more.
All right.
Wow,
Probably
Bob.
enough, Brad?
Yeah, I think if you get through all of those, once you get good at it, you'll be able to get through that in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it'll,
15 minutes out of your day can add years to your life.
there you go.
All right. Thanks for watching.